The next award is the Millicent Carey McIntosh Award for Feminism, and Nancy talked about some of her words and feminist perspective back in an era where it was less common to hear that voice and those words. The Millicent Carey McIntosh Feminism Award was established in 2004 to honor a woman who exemplifies the strong, independent traditions of Barnard. She personifies Barnard's commitment to the education of women and our graduates' influence throughout our society. This year's recipient is Aruna Rao, class of 1977. This class of 1977 is a real powerhouse. It's intimidating to the class of 79. Aruna Rao, Barnard class of 1977, leading expert on gender equality, human rights, and institutional change, working towards a more inclusive world and helping us learn to live with the joyful bravery you invoke. After your stellar start at Barnard, you went on to strengthen and often introduce the theories and practices of feminism across the globe. With over 30 years of experience, particularly in Asia and Africa, you have combined advocacy and cutting-edge research on gender and institutional change. And you have applied your wisdom at multiple levels, from global initiatives and research on public sector reform, to implementing policies and practices in the private sector, to grassroots engagements with women in rural areas. In the mid-90s, you led the BRAC gender team in Bangladesh. Then in 1999, you co-wrote Gender at Work, Organizational Change for Equality, a book that led to the organization Gender at Work, which you co-founded 2 years later. Today, you serve as the executive director of this transnational feminist network committed to ending discrimination against women in the workplace and advancing cultures of equality by changing social norms and upending the status quo. Challenges you somehow always manage to meet. And you have given back to so many organizations in need, serving on the board of the Association for Women's Rights and Development and Civicus, World Alliance for Citizen Participation. In addition, you have been advisor and consultant to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Global Fund for Women, Oxfam, and the World Bank, to name but a few. Recently, you have turned your attention to building the capacities of young professional women through courses and workshops on feminist leadership. Dr. Rao, in honor of your milestone 40th Barnard reunion, we are delighted to present you with the Millicent McIntosh Carey Award for Feminism, in the spirit of Barnard's own Mrs. Mack, who encouraged alumni to make the world a better place for women.
Thank you very much, Terry. It's really a delight and a deep honor. First of all, I want to thank the Alumni Association of Barnard College for this award. I really am deeply humbled and I'm deeply grateful for this recognition. This award means a lot to me, coming as it does from my own college. And I know many of you in the room feel that way, the connection to Barnard. Coming here itself, for me, was a dream that I never imagined possible, actually. I was living in Japan at the time, and I remember when the mailman came with an envelope, you remember the thin envelopes meant, you know, and the fat envelopes were like, this looks good. So the fat envelope arrived, and there was a full scholarship in those days, $3,100, full tuition scholarship. And I was thrilled, and it really was, I have to say, thanks to my parents who defied the, the talk about why should you send a girl all the way across the seas to a university in the United States, and made the sacrifice, that really enabled me to be here today. And so they're not here with me anymore, but my deepest thanks are to them. Like many of you, Barnard opened lots of doors for me. It was my first time in New York. It was first time, obviously, living in the United States. It really enabled me to understand some of the issues which I've then devoted my career to, my life to. Began working on social justice, and particularly women's rights and gender equality around the world. That became my life's work, and as many of the honorees before me have said as well, those are the kinds of values and concerns that are under attack now from many quarters, and so it's really, we need to redouble our efforts. And I too I'm given a lot of optimism by the younger feminists that we see, who are really, whom we can work with to continue that fight and to make sure that the kinds of successes we garner are not all lost. I too am really happy that Barnard stayed a women's college. And really nurtured so many young women who came after us. And I'm especially happy and grateful for the support and care that Barnard gave to my own daughter, who graduated in 2016. My family is here with me this afternoon. My husband, Reidar, from Norway, our two daughters, Priya and Sarita, and without you, this would not be as special as it is. You make it special, so thank you for your presence here. I also want to thank my dear friends Ronnie and Marilyn. Ronnie, I met my second day on campus, so all the Indians kind of got together. The other Indians. Oh, there she is. And Marilyn, I met a few days later, and I had the pleasure of having my Broadway debut in Marilyn's senior project. I was Dolly at the Minor Latham Playhouse, just a few blocks down from here. And we have stayed close, dear friends, all these years, and that is a huge treasure in my life, so thank you for being here. I also want to thank Joanne, who is, my quintessential New York friend, who, you saw her photo up there, we were both in the UN General Assembly. Joanne has walked many of the paths with me in our work on gender equality and women's rights globally, and I'm privileged to share this moment with you, so thank you for being here. I love you all. Thank you deeply to Barnard College for this wonderful award. I will treasure it always. Thank you.
Congratulations to each of our very deserving awardees. While we look forward to welcoming Barnard's 8th president, Sian Beilock, officially next month, it is now my pleasure to invite a gentleman who has guided Barnard through this transition with compassion, calm leadership, and devotion to the college and its mission and community. Please welcome Interim President and Chief Operating Officer Rob Goldberg to the stage to present the Distinguished Alumni Awards.
be here. Welcome. I think I want to go to school here. Right there in those speeches. Great. Congratulations, Nancy, Jan, Marianne, our recipients for our awards for service to Barnard. Congratulations, great speeches. You just proved the rule of why we're all here. As volunteers, the work you do strengthens the bonds between the college and the broader alumni community. We thank you for your countless hours and efforts and attribute a great deal of our successes to all of you. We deeply appreciate your contributions. While this award is in recognition for all that you have done leading to this point, we know that we can continue to count on your devotion to supporting the college for years to come. I think you made that quite clear in your remarks. Thank you very much. And to Aruna, as you know, the award you received today is named for a pioneering Barnard woman. The legacy of President McIntosh lives on today, and I invite you all to visit the Millicent Carey McIntosh dining room upstairs on the second floor, including a photo exhibit of her time at Barnard. And now, it's my honor to present the Distinguished Alumni Awards. Established in 1967 as a way to honor and inspire outstanding Barnard women, this award is given to a select few alumni each year who personify the ideals and excellence of a liberal arts education and who have achieved considerable distinction in their chosen fields. I'm pleased to present you this year's Distinguished Alumni. The first award goes to Joan Hamburg, class of 1957. Joan Hamburg, Barnard class of 1957. For over half a century, you have started a marvelous career. From your voice on the radio to your words on the page, when you speak, we listen. As a student, you were already full of good ideas that you yearned to share with others. You wrote New York on $5 a day, and it was published by Crown with Arthur Fromer of Travel Guide fame. No hotel too seedy, no restaurant too cheap to be investigated and included. Later, you advised on everything from nuptials to super savings in publications including City Weddings, the New York Lunch Book, and our little black book of shopping secrets. For 10 years, you also wrote a column for Family Circle magazine. But it was as a radio broadcaster that you truly made your mark. Beginning in the early 70s, you aired segments on shopping for bargains during the popular Rambling with Gambling program every morning. 30 years later, you've earned the title First Lady of New York Radio by hosting the daily 2-hour Joan Hamburg Show that grew to cover every imaginable subject of national and local interest. Devoted listeners relied on you for cultural information, travel recommendations, dependable restaurant reviews, and even medical advice. No matter the message, you were known for your warmth, integrity, moxie, and curiosity, and always the highest quality program. You interviewed big celebrities and powerful politicians and traveled the world in the process. And for it all, you have earned such kudos as a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Alliance for Women in Media Foundation, New Yorker of the Year, and perhaps the ultimate, your portrait on the wall at Sardis. You are indeed a New York institution and a beloved Barnard alumna. We are delighted to celebrate your milestone 60th reunion and honor your boundless energy and expertise with the 2017 Distinguished Alumna Award. Congratulations.
The picture there is one of my pals I met, and we went to Barnard together, Joan Himes Geismar, and we are also friends to this very day. You know, my path was very different from all the amazing women whose stories we've listened to. The 50s, a lot of our expertise in marching was geared towards marching down the aisle. That's the way that it worked. But I came to Barnard and I found Dean McIntosh. And I cannot tell you, Barnard literally changed my life. She said, do it. Go out and do it and be anything you want. Don't just get married. Get married, but make sure you leave a mark on the world. And it was so exhilarating. I don't know why I needed that permission, but I did. And her voice to this day is still with me. And we would sit in the James room and eat egg salad sandwiches. The food is much better now. And talk about her. And I look at all of you remarkable women, those who have garnered awards today, and just Barnet women. But when we were there in the 50s, we didn't know when we got out, unless we had a profession, we didn't understand what climbing the ladder was. We didn't know what glass ceilings were. We never heard of such stuff. We didn't know what we were going to be when we grew up. But there was something right there. And by the way, the only skills that we had to have to get a job. Now, when I think back, I came out of Barnet, I wrote a thesis on American architecture, I had a wonderful time, I never did anything with it, except admire buildings. But, however, you could not get a job, even if you were a genius, unless you knew how to take shorthand. And speed writing, some of you remember that. You can read this, you can take shorthand. Well, unfortunately for me, I was a lefty, changed to righty. So no one could read my writing, including myself. I had a fabulous memory because of that. I'd go on all these job interviews and they would dictate and I'd pretend to be speed writing the day but I memorized. So and the same skill that landed me the job, which started my career, actually destroyed it. I was working for a magazine called Coupon Magazine. It had a very short life, but I didn't have a long life there either. However, my job, speed writing, was to write to all the heads of huge corporations, offering them their ads in 4-color in our magazine with editorial usage of it. Now, I was lousy as a typist, so I invited the president of General Foods to put his ads, ADS, only my usual typo. I ended up inviting him to put his ass in 4-color with editorial usage of it. He didn't like it. And he demanded my rear end. So I was fired. And as I walked to the door, the editor, who later we found out was the queen of porn in New York City. As I said to someone at lunch, what did we know? We were the best little girls. We were polite sometimes, we didn't do too much of anything that was wrong, or at least never admitted it. We kept it secret, but we didn't get it. And in this job, porn, having an affair, it meant catered. We didn't understand anything that was going on. So I ended up, as I was about to leave, the editor said, "Can you write better than you can type?" I said, "Oh, I'm a really good writer." What did I know? Anyway, I ended up writing, and that was the beginning of this career. Ultimately, advertising saw America through selling Campbell's soup. Duluth, Minnesota. I must tell you, I hope no one's from there. It's really cold. And you had to serve soup on the ice so that they would buy Campbell's tomato soup. But it was okay. I ended up at New York Magazine, where my editor, a very famous man, now gone, but a wonderful person, Clay Felker, he said to us, like Dean McIntosh, "You guys have to be more than you think you are. Just because you're writing stories or doing this, I want more." I said, "What do you want?" He said, "I want you to be a radio person." I don't know how to be a radio person, but it didn't matter because he told me a large station in New York was firing a popular broadcaster. Some of you may remember Bob Grant. He would tell everyone to get off the phone, and he was being sued constantly. So they said they wanted a woman, a nice woman. That was my qualification. Anyway, after all, the magazine was long gone. The little theater group I was in, my relatives had stopped coming. They were really sick of going to the same show. That was closed. So I ended up at not WOR then, it was WMCA Radio. And when I said to the man, Peter Strauss, who owned the magazine and the broadcast station, what am I supposed to talk about? He said, well, you're a woman, think tuna fish. And I said, what does that mean? He said, it's a woman's thing. So I talked about tuna fish. You know, the journey was not easy. We had kids, we had husbands, we had very few role models in the 60s. Really, no one we knew unless they were professionals. I didn't know almost any woman who was doing what I did, and yet when I came home at the end of the day, I was still expected to do the Malamar run. And the women's movement was definitely rearing its head. The problem is it missed my house. And no one told me, except for Dean McIntosh, that I could do it all. We had no expectation, our generation. I got a big kick out of my kids saying, well, I'm going to do this at this stage and that. We didn't know. We just let life push us along. And it pushed. And it really started working. And I was absolutely lucky. And I learned from my early days at Barnet that you can make a difference. And you can give and you can give back. And I feel I've been very blessed to share one of the greatest cities in the world with a large audience. And now, thanks to the digital age and streaming and everything else, we are heard almost everywhere. And whenever you want to hear it. But when all is said and done, and I want to thank all of you, it's Barnet College that said to me, go out and do it. Be it, do it, and always remember to give back. So, to the future, and the future is all of you, I have full faith that representing Barnet, yourself, your families, your countries, you are going to go out and do it and make a real difference. And thank you for the honor, the privilege, and the pleasure. Always.
Congratulations, that was wonderful. Our second recipient of this award is celebrating her 50th reunion this weekend, Carol Stock Kranowitz. Carol Stock Kranowitz, born on class of 1967. Observer and educator, expert in sensory processing and integration. We thank you for giving kids a better life throughout your impressive career. After Barnard, you earned an MA in Education and Human Development from the George Washington University and spent 25 years as a music, movement, and drama teacher. In that time, you witnessed many preschoolers who, as you say, were out of sync, and you made it your business to help them. You began to study sensory processing and sensory integration, and in doing so, learned to identify the needs of your young students. You introduced the theory behind sensory processing disorder, SPD, and in your many writings and workshops, you share your expertise with parents, educators, and other early childhood professionals, along with helpful sensory motor techniques to use at school and at home. Your groundbreaking book, The Out of Sync Child, sold 1 million copies and was the first in a popular series. With its drug-free approach, Out of Sync offers hope to disheartened parents who are trying to help their children function in society. It was selected by Brain Child magazine as one of the top 10 books about children with disabilities. Your most recent in the series is entitled The Out of Sync Child Grows Up, Coping with SPD in the Adolescent and Young Adult Years. With all of this, you are in constant demand as a speaker, nationally and internationally, and you have been widely recognized for increasing public awareness and understanding of SPD. We are especially honored that you will be speaking at this reunion as you celebrate your 50th anniversary of your Barnard graduation. We are grateful for your determination to find new approaches to complex problems and to your devotion to children in need. It is an honor to present you with the 2017 Distinguished Alumni Award. Congratulations.
I am vertically challenged. Barnard, thank you, Barnard. I loved my 4 years here at Barnard, and I thought I learned so much. I thank Barnard for teaching me a lot and for encouraging all of us to get things done. And that has been a theme from our other award recipients today, how we were taught to do that. So I really listened with interest in the senior seminar on restoration drama when English professor Lucille Hook said to a bunch of us seniors, you know, you really haven't learned very much. She said, you've learned a smattering of this and that, but you have learned one big thing, and that is how to learn. And then she gave us this charge. She said to us, keep asking questions. Never pigeonhole what you learn. Apply it to everything else that you're looking into. Share your knowledge. So I did. 30 years ago, I was teaching preschool and asking questions about children who were, well, I called them out of sync. Clumsy, confused, miserable with the ordinary childhood experiences that their classmates enjoyed. These children deeply touched me. Eventually, I learned that their problem was something called sensory processing disorder, or SPD. SPD is a complicated neurological condition that interferes with children's responses to sensations of touch and movement. How to catch children with sensory processing disorder before they fall through educational cracks became my thing. Though neither an occupational therapist, nor a scientist, nor a parent of a child with sensory challenges, I felt driven to explain SPD in simple terms. It was important to me that others could understand these children who were too small to speak for themselves. Important to me to do it, but how could I do it? Who was I? Around that time, I visited an exhibit of Georgia O'Keeffe at the Phillips Gallery in Washington. By the way, did you all know Georgia O'Keeffe studied and taught at Teachers College about 100 years ago? So I was looking at Georgia O'Keeffe's poppies, and I realized that what she did was she took a small flower and made it big so that people could really see it. SPD was my small flower, my small subject, that I brought to light in my first book, The Out of Sync Child, that came out in 1998. Well, I was quite surprised to learn that SPD is not so small. In fact, it affects not just children, but also people of all ages. It coexists with countless other developmental delays, with physical and mental conditions, and with aging. So I was interested to find out that what I wrote about interested many more people than the audience I originally thought I was addressing. My books answer and help parents and others know what to do with their out-of-sync people. Margaret Mead, who graduated in 17, that is, 1917, and who won this award herself in 1971, famously said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." From my little corner in the child development world, I'm very pleased that my books and presentations have improved the lives of many children with bewildering sensory issues and their baffled grown-ups. I'm proud to have made some change in the world, and there are still many more things to get done. So Barnard's recognition of my work is the biggest award ever. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, and congratulations to all of our honorees. I will now invite Lori Hopner, class of '94, chair of the AABC Fellowship Committee, who will present the Alumni Association Fellowships for Graduate Studies. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Interim President Goldberg, and good afternoon, everyone. I am a member of the class of 1994, and I've just completed my first year as chair of the AABC Fellowship Committee, a standing committee of the AABC Board. The AABC Fellowship for Graduate Study is endowed by a gift from the Edith and Francis Mulhall Achilles Memorial Fund. Edith was class of 1914, and Francis was class of 1945. Each year, the committee awards fellowships for full-time graduate study to graduating seniors and alumni of all ages who show a clear interest in her field of study, demonstrate strong motivation and potential for accomplishment, and present a creative approach to her work and a willingness to explore uncharted territory. And I think you'll see that in our awardees today. This year, we received 55 applications and are delighted to award 5 fellowships. The applicants continue to demonstrate the exceptional accomplishments and dedication and purpose of Barnard alumni. And the committee, as always, had a great deal of difficulty in choosing among them. 2 of our recipients are here today, and you'll meet them shortly, but first I would like to tell you about the 3 other awardees who are unable to join us this afternoon. Gabrielle Borenstein, class of 2015. Phi Beta Kappa Honor Society student at Barnard, is currently a PhD student in anthropology at Cornell University. Her current research explores how the material world influences social, religious, and political life, and her dissertation examines this through the lens of the Bronze Age communities in South Caucasus and the ancient Near East. Sarah Levine, class of 2014, is entering Yale Law School this coming fall. A magna cum laude graduate of Barnard College with a major in urban studies and political science, Sarah will continue her work at the intersection of policy and technology to find practical solutions to social problems. Rachel Susser, class of 2015, is pursuing a master's in music and flute performance at the Royal Academy of Music in London. In addition to honing her performance skills, her research explores the use of alternative performance practices as a means to subvert the racial, colonial, class, gender, and other hierarchies perpetuated by classical musical discourse. A Fulbright scholar, Rachel graduated from Barnard Phi Beta Kappa with a major in computer science and music technology. So, these are really sorry. All right, so on to finish the show. I would like to now ask Caroline Gleason to join me on stage to receive her fellowship certificate. Majored in biology, graduated summa cum laude. She is a second-year PhD candidate in cancer biology at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. Her thesis focuses on cellular senescence, a state where cells are alive but permanently growth arrested. Senescence plays a role in a number of diseases and physiological processes and is a desirable means of halting tumor procession. Caroline, on behalf of the Alumni Association of the Barnard College Fellowship Committee, it is my distinct pleasure to award you this fellowship for your graduate study during the 2017-2018 academic year. Barnard graduate with a major in neurology and behavior and a minor in English. She is currently a PhD student in the Neurology and Behavior program at Columbia University, where she focuses on the underlying biological basis of stress resilience. Her thesis research is aimed at uncovering mechanisms of stress resilience and developing pharmaceuticals to prevent stress-induced psychiatric disorders. Josephine, on behalf of the Alumni Association of Barnard College Fellowship Committee, it is my distinct honor to award you this fellowship for your graduate study during the 2017-2018 academic year. Congratulations. Studies and professional accomplishments. I would also like to thank my fellow committee members for their thoughtful dedication, hard work, and long hours in selecting this year's awardees. Very long hours, like 10 o'clock at night. Next year's fellowship applications will be available in the early fall, so open to any alum, graduate, current senior, who is pursuing full-time graduate study. Notification will be posted on the alumni website, and thank you.
Thank you, Lori, and congratulations to both of our distinguished alumna award recipients. Wonderful to hear your advice and your stories.